What is up, everybody? This is your host Superside, and welcome back to another video of Heyday. Now this video I'm going to be releasing it within like an hour of making it, and this is going to be all about the Blossom Derby and the Blossom Task. I'm going to be explaining it in full detail, all the questions you possibly have. I'm going to be answering it here, so it's sort of like a Q&A, but I've already seen the questions, so I'm going to be answering them, everything there is to do with the Blossom Derby. So as you can see, it's only been going for about 3 hours. It's like right out there, it's fresh, and so this one I'll be explaining everything. You're also welcome to ask comments about it for those questions I don't answer, but I'll be answering as many of them as possible since I know it's out. And by the way, I love the update. I think it's really cool. I'm really excited about it, and this Blossom Derby, it just really does it. It's like, you know, you've got this update, then you've got this awesome Blossom Derby. And by the way, thanks for all your support on my previous video. I really appreciate it. Okay, without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, first of all, as the thing that defines the special Blossom tasks is, as you can see, they have this little flower at the top. Now, this is just a visual difference. Thought I'd point it out. I'm going to get to all the serious questions, don't worry. And so, as you can see, it's got the little flower at the top, and it has got the thing in green around it. So there you can see that there is, you can see it's a Blossom task. This one here, which has been done, is also a Blossom task, which has been done. So there's two of them, one there and one there. And these are the regular ones. They haven't got the Blossom star or highlighted out the outside with green. So that's just something there. Okay, so getting on to the real questions. So do the task amounts, right? So this one here, for example, do they change? For example, the first one that they're doing right now is a 321. You can see it right here. Does that change when you go up to the 350.1 by someone else doing it? The answer is no. These things here, how much you need to make, they do not change. It's the same task the whole way through. So that there is unaffected by the amount of points that the task is worth. Okay, the second one is, how many of these spots do they take up? Like, there's two sort of questions, and so it's like, do they take up just the single one, or do they take up all four in terms of space as a task? Now, the answer is they only take up one of these spaces, so not four, it's just the singular one. Another thing is in regards to time. So, well, maybe I'll just go back and I'll just explain basically what happens, just to make it really clear for those of you who don't know, just to give you, some idea. And also some tips and tricks as to the best way to utilize this, because there's actually something really, really cool, a real good trick that will be really helpful in the Derby, in the Blossom Derby. Okay, so basically what it is there's these special tasks called Blossom tasks. Now, what it means is that they can be redone by actually more than four, but there's four different stages, right? So the first one is the worth 320, right? So now when someone goes ahead and does, for example, this one here worth 320, a Blossom task, after they have completed that, it will go back on the board for someone else to be able to complete it. Now, that person there will get the 320 points from doing it, and then when it's offered again, this time it will be exactly the same to complete, but it will now be worth 350 points, right? So that's the second step. So the first person does it for 320, the second person will then be able to do it for 350 points, and so then they'll be able to get that. Once the second, and so only one person can do it for the 320, one person can do it for the 350, and so once the second person's done it, it goes back, and it's then worth 375, and I didn't mention that in my previous video. I made a mistake. I said there was 3 steps, there's actually 4. So then once the 350 person's done it, it's then worth, again, 375, so it's worth even more. It keeps increasing. So then the third person can do it for 375, and then once they've completed it, so there's a lot of time elapsing by the time it takes to do this, it will finally go back on the board, the exact same task with the exact same amounts required or whatnot, and that there will be worth 400 points. Now, an awesome thing is that when it's worth 400 points, when it goes back on, so that the first time is the 320, second time is 350, third time is 375, and the fourth time it's worth 400. As many people as are in the Derby can do that, bar the people that have done it on the 320, the 350, or the 375. So you could have the whole hood, bar those 3 first players, completing it, and so you could get 400 points times, for example, 27 if you are a full hood of 30 doing the derby. But there's an unlimited amount, and so that there is very key, which I'll touch on in a while. Okay, so now the time-wise, right? So do you have the, like, for example, is it like, for example, 3 days for this task, and then once that person is done, it goes back on, and then it's 3 days again? Is it over all time, or is it individual time? Now, it is over all time, right? So you don't get individual time. So if the first person takes 3 days to complete the task, well, then no one else is going to do it. It's only going to go through the first step. That blossom task won't be of any use because it won't increase if that person takes 3 days. So it is working together as a team to make sure that you do get them done in an appropriate amount of time, especially if it's one like a mining task or a revive task that everyone will really want to do. And so you want to get them done as quick as possible. It is overall time, so the longer the first person takes, or the second, or the third, the longer it will take for the less time the final people will have, it's sort of a shame, but yes, that is just how it works. So it's overall time right there, as you can see, 2 days, 22 hours left, not individual time. Just sort of specify, and that's for all of them, by the way. And also another thing is, there's many different types of tasks. It's not just, for example, the product tasks, or not just like fish tasks. It's a whole bunch of tasks, the whole range of tasks. The blossom tasks aren't specific. And so as you can see, and the rarity isn't too bad because there's already, as you'd see, 2 right here, and possibly even more. And yes, so that's another thing I thought I'd point out. Can they be binned? Yes, they can be binned. So, for example, as we can see right here, this one right now is a special blossom task, but we agreed as a hood that I've just joined, and they kind of let me in to participate and film the footage. So also, yeah, shout out to Bacon and Bailey's. Yep, thanks for having me in the hood. I just thought I'd do a quick, being able to, I'll participate in this derby, I'm in it. But yes, you can indeed delete the blossom task. So for example, right here, we agreed that we'd delete this one because only 2 of us have it, and which is also another slight issue with which will be a tad of a shame with the blossom derby. It will discourage intergenerational sort of levels from being in the same hood, because you have tasks like this, which of course only in this derby, only like 2 of us can complete it, 2 or 3 of us, when there's 6 of us, so the other 3 can't do it, so then it's not much use, because by the time we get it up to the 400, no one can do the 400 one. So that is a bit of a shame to do with level thing, because it will discourage high hoods from allowing in lower players, because they won't be able to do these sort of things. It's partly an issue currently with a tiny bit. It's not a big issue, but some, tasks are only for the high level players, but especially for the ones that are build up ones, it won't work if you have low level players that can't end up completing them, such as, for example, having the town building, the beach cafe right there, which is a bit of a shame. Same with solo players, it won't work, but overall, for the vast majority of players, it's going to be great. But you see, as you can see, I can trash this task, and trash, that is officially gone. That there was one of the derby tasks, the blossom tasks, by the way. Okay, moving on to the next question, and so that would a question. There we go. And so wait, I'm just looking at it here. Right. Oh, yes, points-wise. Okay, so you've got the 321, and so it's, for example, if the first person does it for 320 points, and then the second person then does it worth 350 points and completes it, will you then get an additional 30 points, or your points be up to 350 or whatnot? You see what I mean? The answer is no, they will not. You will get your points. So, for example, if you do it worth 320, you're only going to get 320. Okay, you're not going to get the extra points from other players doing it higher above you. It's going to be your points, and yeah, it doesn't get upped. You just stay with those points. So yeah, you only get the points that you complete from when you do it. So if you do it at 350, you'll get 350 points. You won't get less, you won't get more. You'll get it just like a regular task. You'll get the points from doing it, and so other people doing it will not affect how many points you get, which leads on to my next question, which is, if it runs out, do you lose your points? So for example, if it's in the middle of it, do you lose your point? And some of these questions I just sort of immediately assumed, but I can assure you these are the correct answers to these questions that I can tell you. Anyway, so will you lose your points, for example, if the second person's on it and then it expires, but they've selected it, it's like, yes, it will, you won't get points. The second player, and by the way, the first player will not lose their points, and so you don't need to worry that you're going to lose all your points. If you've done it, if you've completed your task, you'll get your points. You're not going to get no more, you're going to get no less, and you're not going to lose them if in the future they don't complete the task properly. But no, if for example, the second player is going for 350 points and does not complete it in time, that's it. They miss their points. That's pretty straightforward. Same with all the other tasks, just as it will be for the Blossom task as well. So you can't miss it. Also, so this is footage, by the way, of the game. I could be moving it around a little bit more because, by the way, we have a revive and more questions. I just thought I'd show you this. This is real cool. This is a different thing, which is a revive task event. I think it's really cool because it's Heyday's 6-bit. Oh, yes, and we can collect this. That's right. Well, not that. We can collect this, which was for the, yes, update. That's right. But then, of course, I was there for the maintenance and I couldn't get on, but I should have claimed it. But I thought it'd be cool to claim this one because of the message for the video. But there we go. We'll claim that. So we'll get the 5 and then, so I did get it. I mentioned I didn't get it in the video, but it came. So awesome. And this thing here this is a real cool event. It's revives. Love revive events, but when you max it out, you'll get all these letters. So, see, Alfred's already on his way, bringing, I think, the A or the Y. And so then I think it spells Heyday. So we've got oh yeah, he's going to bring the H, and then we'll have the A, the Y. But the funny thing is, you have to get these. So it would be so dumb if you only got halfway, if you only got like the H-A. So it's only like ha. Or if you got the H-A-Y-D, it's like head. It's like, just get them all. Just get the full Heyday. Like, it would be so awkward for those players that don't hit the end one. It's like just hit the end one. You got 4 days to do it. Let's make it count, because otherwise it's silly, because they won't have half the letters. But yeah. Anyway, this one here, is this going to be the H? Yes, yes, it is. There we go. Hello, Sue. And by the way, 6th birthday, very awesome. Heyday's an awesome game. So yeah, just thought I'd put that out there. Of course, many of you know based on my channel, I like Heyday. I've done a lot of videos on it. Hello, Superstar HD YouTube. It's Heyday's 6th. Not 8th, not yet. 6th birthday, yay, that's right. Take this special decoration as a thank you for your amazing support, feedback, and above all for playing Heyday. You will notice that okay, it's just because it went across, it looked funny. It's a letter. Play the birthday event to win the rest. Let's make next year even better. Best regards to the Heyday team. Love it. Thank you very much. That is really, really cool. And absolutely, this is obviously called a birthday event. Didn't realize that. This year is about reviving it, and yeah, very cool, and we're already on the way to doing it. Okay, back to this. There we go. See, as you can see, this here is, and this is exactly what I meant before. More questions that I will be answering. I just sort of point this out. This is exactly what I mean. The level thing is going to be an issue, because especially if it's small HUDs, they won't even get to 400 points, because, for example, if there's only 2 players that can do it, the first one will do it for 320, the second one does it for 350. It's like, well, yes, they get 350, which is more than 320, but no, they can't get the full benefit of getting it to 400, which is a bit of a shame, but that's just how it is. So getting it to 400 is key, but with a lot of those tasks, it's super hard, because you only have, like, for example, 3 days to do this one. I'm not sure with all the other times, but with this one, it's only 3 days, and so you have to get it through the first person doing it, the second person doing it, the third person doing it, and then the fourth person doing it, or possibly more than 4, but it's like, that's a lot of steps, especially with like a taco task, unless you'd pre-done it, but some of them, it's going to be very time constraining. Like, yeah, there'll be a lot of pressure on you if, for example, you're on the 375 task, you know, for that point thing, and there's only like a day left, and you're only like halfway through. It's like, come on, don't pressure me too much, and everyone's waiting to get that 400 task done because they want to do it, and they're like, hurry up, and then it's like, so much pressure would be on you. So yes, those first 3 players will be key. Okay, so can you, I love this question. Can you delete the Blossom task if someone else is doing it? And I just like, immediately I'm like, probably, most likely, most 99% surely, no. Because, and so as you can see right here, no, I cannot delete that, and I can fully understand that, because imagine that, if you're like 1 hour off completing it, 1 hour getting your points, and then someone, either accidentally, or as a prank, just thinks, you know what, I'm going to delete, that'd be very nasty, but that would not be funny, but that'd be so sad if that was even an option, to delete the active task someone was doing. It's like, I just thought that was, like, it's question. All questions are good. I thought I'd just cover that one, but I thought that's pretty self-explanatory. No, you cannot delete someone else's task. It's like, you can't delete them in regular ones. If someone's doing it, it's like, delete. It's like, no, so you can't do it in the Blossom one. Especially, it's like 400 point one. Imagine if your whole hood was doing that, 27 of them were doing that, and then you just deleted it. That's just, wow, that's just no. So no, you cannot delete a task if someone else is doing it, whether it's a regular task or a Blossom task. So yes. And as I said, there's many different types of tasks. So, and so basically, the whole structure is that, right, and wait, yes, I covered that. Just looking at all my stuff here, just the main questions. So basically, the main concept and idea behind it is, you need a minimum of 4 people to get to the 400 points. The first one is, the first 3 are very key at getting it there. The first one has to do it for 320 points. The second one does it for 350 points. The third one does it for 300 and 75 points, and then when it gets to 400 points, so after those, so with those three, only one person can do it, only one person. And by the way, you can't, another thing is you can't do it twice, right? So for example, if you do for example it worth 320, when that task goes back on there, you can't do the 351, the 375, or the 401. You can only do it once. So you are taking one for your team, sort of, providing it gets to 400 and other people get to complete it at 400. You are taking one for your team. So, well, the whole thing is like you're part of a team, you're part of a hood. You're trying to win the derby. It's not like you're trying to win individual points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you'll just get less points from doing that, from being the first person or the second or the third to do it. But you can only have one person doing it at a time on the earlier ones, and so on the 320, the 350, and the 375, it's only one person. And even so, that is going to be really hard pressed time-wise with certain tasks to have 3 different people get through it if it's a 3-day one. So they'll only have a day to do it each, but then it will be even less because then you have all the people wanting to do it 400. So for example, if it's 3 days, then you have to divide that by 4. So it's less than a day to do it. So depending on the task, that might be easy or it might be really difficult, because that's like just instantly like finish it. So it will be quite tight pressed to do that. But yes, so the first, for 320 it can only be done by one person. For 350 it can only be done by one person, but the people can't be the same. So if you do it at the 320, you can't do it at any of the other ones, and if you do it at the 350, you can't do it at any other ones. So in order to get it up to 400, you need at least 3 different players. So you need the first one at 320, second one at 350, third one at 375, and then it will come back as a 400 task, and at the 400 task you can have the whole hood doing it, bar those 3 players that got it there. So in order to get 400 points from a Blossom task, you would need at least 4 players in the derby. You'd need the first 3 to get it up to the 400, and then the fourth player, or fourth player to the 27th player, based on how many people are in there, they can get the 400 points. And so that there is where the strategy comes in, because 400 points is a hang of a lot. But again, it's really basing it on those first 3 players. You've got to make sure that they really speed through it as quick as possible. The mine ones will be absolutely beautiful, as will the revive ones, in my opinion. There's probably other ones that will be great as well, but the revive and the mine ones are just going to be the best if everyone has tools, because it will just be able to be done in like 5 minutes. Just like boom, and then boom, and then boom, and then after 15 minutes, then it will just be 400 points for everyone. So that will be amazing, but that will be very key for strategy, because you'll have all these players that then are able to do it for 400 points, and that will be a hang of a lot of points. So this year is going to really, really ramp up and change the derby in a big way. Well, when they have the Blossom derbies on, I'm not sure if it's the only one, if there's more. I hope there's more, because it's really cool, but it will definitely have strategy, because there will need to be a lot of timing based on when you do these tasks, because they only have a limited amount of time, and it's total time, not individual time. And so that will be a key thing for just quickly getting those first 3 players, obviously really reliant players that can do it quickly, that have a lot of time to play Hay Day. Getting those 3 through it to get it is to 400 points immediately, and once it's 400 points, everyone will be able to jump on the bandwagon and then choose that task, and then get huge amounts of points with everyone getting the 400 point thing. So yeah, that is basically it for the Q&A, the explanation of the Blossom Derby and the Blossom tasks. I do hope that I explained it well. You're more than welcome to ask any questions you have in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them to the best of my knowledge. And I'm pretty sure that virtually everything I said, I'm very sure that how I answered the questions was indeed very accurate, like 100% accurate. I hope so. I can't guarantee it, but I'm very sure that they are indeed the answers to those questions. So I hope you found it helpful. Please do give it a like if you did find it helpful. Please subscribe if you're new to my channel, and please leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. This has been your host, Supersight. I hope you found the information helpful and useful, and I hope that the Blossom Derbies have a blooming future. Have a good day.